The best build for Miyabi is what we're talking about in today's video, guys, because you probably just pulled her and you want to know what her best build is, who her best teammates are, and how she actually works if you didn't know that already. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be covering all of that. If you like videos like this, then please hit that subscribe button. Let me stop rapid firing now. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about her best W engines first. Now, unfortunately, on this end here, there hasn't been much change from patch 1.4 to now, because the real big bummer with this is her signature W engine, yes, is still her best W engine, right? But the really down bad thing with this, guys, is that it provides you the crit rate for a main stat and provides you crit damage in the substats. She's an anomaly character, meaning you really can't get much use out of the other W engine options there are in the game. If you wanted to go to the next best option, literally is going to be Fusion Compiler, and it does literally 25% less damage than what this W engine offers you. So, gonna be cringe to use this W engine here. You can use it if you reach the crit rate requirement. We'll talk more about stat requirements a little bit later in the video, but as of right now, guys, it's about a 25% damage decrease if you were to run something like Fusion Compiler or Electro Lip Gloss, which is a standard S-rank W engine and a Battle Pass W engine option. My best recommendation to you guys is actually going to be running an attack W engine here. This is what I run on my Miyabi because I cannot reach her 80% crit rate threshold that she needs to reach. So I have to run one of these W engine options here, and you can really just use any of them because you're not getting the passive effect, right? So if you had something like Steel Kush on your account, this could work here because it gives you 24% crit rate off rip, which is going to be really massive. If you wanted something else, Cannon Rotor can work here if you had a BPW engine. It gives 20% crit rate. You can also get Marcata Desire if you did get the Event W engine there. You could also run Novi Luna as well, which is a B rank W engine option there. And all of those, like I just said, are going to be offering you crit rate because crit rate is going to be ultra important to her kit. That's really all that I have to mention now in terms of her W engine options. Like I said, not much has changed there, but what has changed are her best in-slot teammates because she has to get a plethora of more teammates that she can actually work with since her release. So let's go ahead now and talk about what her best in-slot team is. So off rip, guys, the best in-slot team for Miyabi is going to be a team with her, Yuzuha, and Vivian. This is the hands down the best in-slot team, and that's because of the fact that both Yuzuha and Vivian don't have to be on field much at all, right? They're on the field for as much time as you need to get their charge stacks back up, and then they pop back off the field and let Miyabi do the most of the damage, right? And the really big thing with these characters as well is because while they're off field, they also help you in proccing extra anomaly procs on the enemy, which will lead to more disorder procs. The more disorder procs you have, the more stacks you're getting with Miyabi, which 3 charge slash, the AoE bullshit, right? That does the most damage in the damn game. You're going to be able to get that more often. Now, with this as well, you're also able to get more disorder damage off as well with someone like Yuzuha. And then on top of this as well, you're also able to get more DOT damage with someone like Vivian and just more procs overall. So this is the best in slot team hands down for her, but it is not the only team that she can work with because I think Miyabi is really good in the sense that she can work with just about every single anomaly character in the game. Hopping into another team option now, obviously I think Yuzuha best in slot support in just about every case scenario for her, so we will still keep her on the team for this. But if you didn't have Vivian, you could also run Yanagi here as well. Yanagi has the ability to proc off disorders and increase disorder damage even more. Paired up with Yuzuha, this can be a really good match made in heaven. The reason why I don't think it's the best in slot team is because it requires a lot more on-field time for Yanagi to actually pop off here, and there's a lot more energy constraint in my opinion for Yanagi as well. So this team does become a bit clunky in my opinion, but it is still a really good and really solid team you can use here. Bernice also going to be a really strong anomaly option here too, because she provides off-field anomaly damage, which provides off-field anomaly procs, which leads to more disorder damage, so this can work here too. Now let's go ahead and flip the script a little bit, right? If you didn't have Yuzuha on your account, who else can you run? You can run characters like Astrial here, you can run Caesar King, Nicole, Lucy, any of the sorts here, but one option that you might not have thought about is actually going to be Lighter, or maybe you did, right? So Lighter is going to be really good because ice damage increase, yippee! Yeah, he's going to be increasing the ice damage he does and decreasing the ice res on the enemy as well, so you're doing doubly more damage with someone like Lighter on the team. Now, of course, you really do want this paired up with someone of these Sons of Caledon, and you want to support you on the team, so you're really cuckolded to using Lighter and Lucy on the same team. So this is like, you have to run this team to make it work. Not to say this team's bad, it definitely can work. I've used it in Deadly Assault multiple times, and it has helped me clear with 20,000 plus points multiple times. So this team can definitely work, just not the best in slot, and you might be teetering on the edge of the time limit to get the 20,000 there. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And to mention some final options here as well, guys, you can use Lycon and Shokaku. Obviously, Lycon and Shokaku as well are going to be boosting your damage to ice, and then Piper and Lucy also can work here too. Piper has the ability to proc off assault procs, and then you bring Miyabi back onto the field and just do your thing there and get some disorder procs off. while Lucy's providing you with a 600 attack buff and some off-field fire anomaly buildup as well, so that can also be pretty decent. But these are all the teams that I have to mention in today's video, guys. Like I mentioned, she has a lot of friends, so if you pulled her and we're wondering who she can be used on, practically everyone that is anomaly adjacent, okay? But that's all that I have to mention in terms of teams. Now, let's go ahead now and talk about her best in slot dish drives. But before we hop into that, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now, gamers, because if you don't, I'm going to come to your house and find you. No, I'm not. I'm actually way too lazy for that. Anyways, hit the subscribe button now, and let's go ahead and talk about her best in-slot disk drive sets. And her best in-slot 4-piece set, guys, is going to be the branch and blade set. This set was literally created for Miyabi, so this is going to be the best set still in the game right now. Because at a 2-piece, it'll be increasing her crit damage by 16%, and then at a 4-piece, if her anomaly and mastery exceeds 115 points, the crit damage is going to be increased by an extra 30%, and whenever any member on the squad inflicts freeze or shatter on the enemy, your crit rate will be increasing for 12% for 15 seconds. So all around her best in slot set, literally, like I said, this is built for her, and this is the #1 set that you should be using. Now, in terms of the 2 pieces you can use, because I don't recommend any other 4-piece set really, there are a couple different options. If you cannot reach the crit rate threshold, I definitely recommend 2-piece Woodpecker Electro. Hands down the best in slot thing you can run here, because if you really do want to be hitting at least 80% crit rate, okay guys, like, you want to be hitting that number there. So anything to help you get to that margin is going to be super, super essential for you. If you already reach the 80% crit rate threshold, then I would honestly recommend running something like Polar Metal. This will be increasing her overall ice damage. Those are the best sets that I recommend for her. Let's go ahead and hop into those stats now, starting off with the main stats first. On the 4 disc, guys, it's going to be crit rate. On the 5 disc, it's going to be ice damage percentage. And on the 6 disc, is going to be attack percentage. Talking about those substats now, guys. Crit rate, crit damage, anomaly proficiency, and attack. Now, on the crit rate, guys, I would recommend 80% as a minimum. On the crit damage, I would recommend at least 110 to 120% here if you can get to it. On the attack will be around 2,500, and on the anomaly proficiency over 240. Now, the reason I'm recommending 80% of the crit rate, this is the crit rate you have within battle. This means not before you enter the battle. If you have calculated to have 80% crit rate within battle, then obviously this before battle can be decreased, and this number can go down for sure. It really just depends on who you have on your team and what you have on your team. It would be inherently increasing her crit rate when you're in the battle, so do keep that in mind when building route. Crit damage can be hard to get if you don't have her W engine, guys. My crit damage is really low. It does obviously hurt her damage quite a bit, but that's really all that I have to mention in terms of stats. Let's go ahead now and talk about how she works and a little bit of how you should be playing her, right? Because her playstyle really does change depending on the team that you have her in. So the most simplistic way I can break this down for you guys to get a better understanding of what we're going to talk about in a second here is literally build her Fallen Frost attacks up to 6. You hold down her basic attack, then while her basic attack is going off, then you switch off of her to another DPS or another support character to get their abilities back up, and then by the time it ends, you switch back to Miyabi, and then you continue the cycle. So to go further into detail now, starting off with your Fallen Frost first. This is going to be the meter you see right below her HP bar. You can hold up to 6 points of this, and you can spend up to 2, 4, or 6 of these points to do increasingly more damage. A level 3 is going to be the best damage possible, and it is going to be the creme de la creme. This is what you need to be aiming for. Now you might be asking, how do you build this meter up? Well, that's very simple, gamers. #1, you can use her EX special attack. This will give you 2 points, and then a follow-up attack will give you an extra 2, so that's 4 points automatically. Next is going to be your ultimate move, guys. This automatically gives you 3 points of Fallen Frost stacks, but this is not the only source you're getting it from, guys. Her core passive allows her to get 1 additional stack whenever you get a Frostburn effect on the enemy, so this will be basically proccing off whenever you use the ultimate or her EX special attack. That'll be giving you an additional stack there. And then finally, guys, you can get it from her teammates as well. So whenever anyone on the team, including herself, triggers an anomaly disorder, she gets 2 additional stacks. So all around, this is why I said the teams I mentioned earlier, right? You really want to be focusing on getting disorders off because it helps her damage out so much. And to kind of go into a little bit more detail now on how you need to play different teams, right? When you're using her on a Vivian team, you very much so want to make sure you have Vivian stacks up at all time. This means if you need to swap out into her big combo to get stacks back up, then you do that. And also you need to kind of delay your attacks sometimes to wait for Vivian to get her full off-field attack off so she actually gets her blooms in place, because if you're not doing this, you're not getting disorders. If you're not getting disorders, then you're not charging her back up and using her efficiently, and your damage will drop off of a mountain versus someone you're using like Yanagi, right? Yanagi, you're swapping in and out a lot more frequently because you're going to be going with Miyabi, activating Frostburn, then going with Yanagi, doing her little slam down there, getting a disorder, then swapping back into Miyabi, proccing Frostburn off again, then swapping back, and then doing the same thing, rinsing and repeating. Same thing can also be said with someone like Piper as well, right? Now Piper's going to have a little bit more on-field time because you do need to charge that ability up just a bit more, but overall, it kind of works works the same way as the Yanagi team. Your swapping is just going to be a little bit less slower, or your cadence with Miyabi is going to be a little less fast. But then her playstyle kind of completely changes when you're talking about her on a team with Lighter and Lucy, right? Because you want them to get the buffs for her, that's about it. So basically the only thing you're swapping off of Miyabi for is to get buffs back up, usually with Lucy, and then using Lucy to quick swap back into Miyabi. It's really the only time you're going to be having any of the other characters on the field. Literally, whenever you're using 3 charge stacks and also you're using your ultimate, you'll be keeping Miyabi on the field regardless of the fact, right? Unless you need to get buffs back up, so that's why you want to time the team to need to have their buffs back up in those downtime periods where Miyabi's not really doing as much. Going into a bit of her own cadences now, right? So when you're using her ultimate move, you generally want to use it before you use your 3 charge slash. Now, with that being said, you want to make sure you're maximizing the use of the ultimate move because it does give you 3 stacks back for completely free. But on top of this, your ultimate move is going to be increasing the amount of ice damage that you're doing. So you do want to time this up with, you have, you know, maybe you miss out on 1 stack if you're not the best player in the world, then so be it, right? Use your ultimate and then you do 3 charge slash. So you don't want to really use 3-star slash and then use ultimate immediately after that. You don't have a plan to get her charges back up. And on the same note here, if you have her energy gauge up a lot, this means you probably want to use her ultimate move first before you're using any energy. So any of the extra damage you're doing past that will be getting the increased damage to ice damage. So you use ultimate and then maybe use a skill move or you use a 3 charge. And then you use skill for skill and then follow up back and then you do it again. So you're getting maximum damage output there. There are little small things that you can do when playing her to make her that much more better and give you that much more damage output. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. That is the most updated guide for Miyabi. If you enjoyed today's video, then please hit the bell icon if you haven't subscribed already. But if you haven't subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it. Catch you guys later. That's all from me. Bye-bye, buckaroos. Hope you enjoy your Miyabi and maybe your yuzuha too. Best of luck in your pulls if you haven't pulled already. And see you in the next one, guys. Later. Bye-bye.